Well, hey there. Good morning, Brickheads. I hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday. I know I am because it is a wild card Wednesday, and today we are doing a set review, which I absolutely love doing. But hey, first, let me just say thank you so much, whether you are listening on your favorite podcast platform or you are checking me out on YouTube. I just really appreciate you tuning in. I got two special shout outs to whoever is listening in, I'm assuming it's Melbourne. I can't say Melbourne, right? Because if you're in Australia, right, you'd say Melbourne, Australia. Someone's listening a lot down there, and that is really cool, as well as in the Netherlands. So my Dutch fans out there, love you. Hey, I'm a quarter Dutch, so, appreciate you tuning in to the podcast. But yeah, just like to give those special little shout outs. Obviously, someone has tuned into me a lot in those areas. I just thought I'd say thank you. It just makes me feel good to know that someone halfway around the world is listening to this podcast. So anyway, with that, like I say, it is Wednesday. It is a wild card Wednesday, so we are going to do a set review. And today it is none other than set 43230, the Walt Disney Tribute Camera. And don't sleep on this set because it is actually quite phenomenal. And if you are tuning in on the YouTube page, you can see it next to me right now in all of its pure glory. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, if you've ever listened to these set reviews before, I'm going to break down the set, let you know a little history behind it, give you a little specs on it, and then I will give you my final review on this set. And what I like to do is I like to break it down into four main categories: displayability, playability, the build experience, and the overall value. And I rate all those on a scale of 1 to 10, which then gives me an overall score to let me know what let you know if I think this is worth your time and worth your money. So there we go. The Walt Disney Tribute Camera. This set came out way back in September of 2023. And it specifically was celebrating the 100 years of Disney, because you'll know that Disney came out in 1923, which is kind of crazy, right? And this set kind of came out of the middle of nowhere, right? You're used to castles or like the Steamboat Willie set, things like that. But we got a camera, and not just any camera, but a total throwback, iconic camera of what, Walt Disney would have used to help him shoot his films, right? And not only do we get the camera, but we also get this incredible display stand with some incredible minifigs. In fact, there are 5 minifigs, all of which are unique to this set. So you have a classic Minnie and Mickey. They're done in that gray tone, that grayscale tone, and we have gotten Minnie and Mickey's before in the CMF sets, as well as there is a gray tone Mickey from the Steamboat Willie set for ideas, but these printings are unique to this set. So those are really cool, but not as cool as the next 3. We have Walt Disney himself, and you can find Walt Disney in no other set. And it's just, it looks like this, he's in his classic gray suit, and he is holding the printed little like Bambi 2x2 tile. And it's just a really cool piece. And in fact, that piece, that printed tile piece, you can only find that in 2 other sets. There was another 100th anniversary Disney tribute set, as well as the new Disney Castle set. Those are the only places you can find it. And that is just really cool when they include unique pieces to a set. And this one has a lot of them, which I will talk about. But also, the final 2 minifigs, which I absolutely adore, we have Dumbo and we have Bambi. And I gotta tell you, like, the Dumbo and Bambi, like, molds are absolutely astounding. The Dumbo, they're both single cast molds, right? So you got to assume it's going to cost Lego a lot of money to make this Dumbo mold. And this is the only set you're going to find this in. And the Dumbo mold it's incredible. The Bambi mold is really, really good. But the Dumbo mold to me is it's unreal. And, a typical mold is going to cost anywhere between like $500,000 to $1 million to make, right? So for them to do that is just really incredible. Do apologize for the noise. I was setting down the stand itself. Like I said, if I'm kind of playing with the set here in front of me right now, and it tends to make a little noise. So apologies. Anyway, if that wasn't all, on this stand, I'm going to kind of go into it a little bit. The stand is what we call it's a clapboard, right? So the history of animation, you can think of back to Snow White, right? The first animated Disney movie. And they used cells, CEL, cells to draw and layer animated scenes, right? So you would have your background scene of, say, Snow White's house, and that didn't move. And so that was your background. And then they would layer an additional cell on there of like Snow White walking up to the house. And they would make multiple layers of these cells, and that's how they would film that animated feature. So you'd have not only just the non-moving artwork, but then you had the other pieces of artwork where they would literally make hundreds upon thousands of these cells to actually make the full-length feature film. It was really, really groundbreaking for the time, and not only put Walt Disney on the map, but that right there turned Disney into the world's biggest company, led to what it is today. Anyway, it's a kind of a cool feature, and the cell prints, they're like the window tiles for this. I just really like that they did a 3-layer printing of these window tiles. And again, these are tiles that you can only find in this set, and it kind of just shows you that full how they would film that piece. So just really clever, a really good attention to detail, which I really like. Overall, the set is 811 pieces, and it is on sale. You can actually still find it today for $100. So that equates to about 12.3 cents per piece. So not a great value, but not uncommon for a Disney licensed theme. You're going to notice this more and more. Any Lego set that is tied to Disney tends to be more expensive because Disney, they really like their piece of the pie. And so it costs a lot of money if you want to get on the Disney game. That includes Marvel and Star Wars as well. So those licensed IPs with that Disney parent company, they tend to cost a little bit more. The set itself is 14.5 inches tall. It's about 8.5 inches wide and just makes for a really nice display. You have the big 100 on top that represent not only the 100 years of Disney, but also the additional film reels that they would have filmed on, which I think is cool. You've got the classic crank that they would have used to, keep the film reel running. And if that wasn't all, inside of the camera itself, you can actually pop it open, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to make all the noise, but you can pop it open and there's a little office in there for Walt Disney. Like you can take the minifigure and stick him inside the camera like he's one with filming it. And, it's just kind of cool to have that little feature. It's not a necessary feature, but it's just the idea of, the embodiment of Walt Disney being a part of this camera is just really neat to me. In addition to that, we have the other features of the camera, especially the lenses that move in and out and other tiny playable features. I will say it's a pretty solid set on a 3-piece tripod. And I really like this particular tripod because it's done Technic style. And unlike if you bought the buildable Minnie and Mickey figures from probably about 4 years ago, that came with a classic camera accessory piece, but that piece is notorious for the tripod just full, like flopping out and falling flat. This doesn't do that because it actually is connected at a 3-point hinge, keeping all of the tripod legs at the perfect distance. And it also moves and shifts, so it just sets up really, really well. So if that's not all, like so far, like you're hearing this, I hope you understand what I'm saying here. This is a pretty like cool little set, a lot packed into it. There are no stickers in this set. I mean, that right there is something to cheer for. And there are a lot of Disney sets out there that do have a lot of stickers. So to get printed pieces, it's always a bonus. Like we could have very easily had those tiles, those big window tiles with the images. Those very easily could have been stickers, but they didn't do that. They did printed pieces. And if that wasn't all, I feel like I keep saying that, right? There is an actual film strip, okay? And this is unlike anything we've ever seen in a Disney set before, in any Lego set before, really, for that matter. And it is a film strip of like 24, 20, somewhere around there, different Legoized scenes from classic Disney movies. So all the way from, it starts in order. Like you really have to take a look at this film strip. Like at the very bottom, you have Steamboat Willie back in 2028. And then it works up to Snow White. And then I believe Pinocchio's next because that's the second Disney film. And it starts to work its way up through the years of Disney, and you get all the way to the top where you finally have things like Tiana in Princess and the Frog. You've got Elsa with Frozen, and then finally Encanto at the top for 2021. And so it's a really great visual interpretation of the timeline of Disney. And what a clever way to do it. And of course, like I say, all of these scenes are done in Lego. And some of these Lego figures in these cells, we've never actually seen in real Lego form. So it'd be cool to think that one day, maybe all of these scenes, we can officially have these done in minifigure style. So I just love it. I mean, I'm looking at it right now and I see Baloo and Mowgli done up in Lego, or Arthur in Sword of the Stone, or your classic Sleeping Beauty. You could look at this thing all day. It's so amazing. And I will tell you, it's funny, this set, if you go to like brickset.com, it originally had a retirement date of the end of September 2024. It is still available at disney.com. But I'm going to tell you this. This is a set that is not probably going to be around for much longer. I actually didn't double check this, so don't quote me on this. No one get angry at me. But I don't imagine this set living much past 2025. So if you do want to get your hands on this really iconic piece celebrating 100 years of Disney, I highly recommend getting in on it this year. Like, I can totally see it going in September of this year, or definitely by the end of this year. It just makes sense. It's going to be on a 2-year run at that point, and it's celebrating 100 years of Disney. And usually sets that celebrate an anniversary of some kind, they tend not to have a really long shelf life. And you can't get away from the fact that this is specifically, with the giant white 100 on top, is celebrating 100 years of Disney. And when this set retires, first off, you're not going to be able to bricklink it cheaply. Like if you're like, I'll just come back and get the sets later, or it's too expensive to buy on the retail market, you're just going to, set by piece by piece. There are so many unique pieces to this set that it's going to cost you well over $100 to bricklink it. In fact, the film strip itself, you can find it right now cheap at Bricklink, like, $5 or $6. But for those people that are not initiated, that are maybe going to eBay, like they're selling on eBay for more like 20 or 30 bucks. So don't buy it on eBay, buy it on BrickLink. But I will tell you, when this set retires, this film strip piece right here, because obviously it's not going to last as long as the Lego pieces, this is going to be a hot commodity one day. I guarantee it. So anyway, there you go. And I hope, you're looking at this going, wow, Steve, you're right. This is a sleeper set. I will tell you again, the value of this. Well, in fact, why don't I just get into it? My final rating for this set so you can see my final thoughts, because it doesn't really lack. And let's start off with the big one, displayability. It's 811 pieces, and granted, you're like, well, that's not very big. How well does it display? It displays beautifully. It looks so good on a shelf, and especially with the action clapboard and the cells that they would use in actually making it, just look really good. Like I said, the whole thing, that whole display stand is set up on the clapboard, right? And just to see the cells and everything coming together in that 3-layer system is just really, really nice. It looks great on a shelf. It fits on a bookshelf nicely, perfect display piece. So I'm going to give that a 10 out of 10 for sure. Playability, I'm definitely going to knock it a little bit here. And while I love Walt Disney's office in there, it's really not a usable, playable camera. Meaning, if you had the Ideas Polaroid camera, that has got repeated playability features. But this camera, because of the film strip, it doesn't really rotate. It doesn't really move very well. It doesn't have a lot of movable pieces. And so this is more of a display piece than a playable piece, which is fine. It is what it is. But you just need to keep that in mind, that this is geared more towards adults. It is an 18 plus set. It is not a 10 plus set. So for playability, I would say 7 out of 10. Now, build experience. Cool build experience, right? A little repetitive. Obviously, you've got the legs that are all three the exact same build, but the camera itself, simple but effective and diverse. Very nice. Absolutely love it. And then, it's not super diverse like the whole build for what you are getting, but it's a fun build. It'll go quick. Like, you're going to build it in one sitting because you're going to enjoy it that much. But for build experience, just in the grand scheme of things, not insane. So I'm going to also give that a 7 out of 10. And then the value is this probably the biggest knock. Again, at 12.3 cents per piece, it's an expensive set. So if you can find this on a deal or on aftermarket, anything below $100, I would jump on it. But at $100, it's definitely expensive. So again, 7 out of 10 there. So if you're keeping track at home, that puts me at a 7.8 out of 10. And I think overall, that's probably pretty fair for a rating. But as far as like joy goes, if you're a Disney fan, if you enjoy Disney and you enjoy Lego, this is really a must-own in your set. So even though I don't necessarily rate it as high as some of the other Disney sets that I've rated, it is definitely one that is a must in my collection, and definitely one that I would recommend to anybody for sure. So anyway, that is the tribute camera. You tell me, what do you think? Do you have this set? Is there something we're missing from here as far as like looking at it? I feel like it's pretty complete, right? So anyway, there you go. There are my thoughts on it. I appreciate you listening in so much on this one. Like I said, I do love a good set review because it gives me a chance to like relive some of that, like that history. When you sit down, you not only dig into the set, but you get to relive that experience of, when I put this together, it was really fun and really super cool. So I do love a good set review. But anyway, as always, I appreciate you so much. And until Monday, which we were going to come back with, I'm sure, a whole lot more news and rumors, because we are getting close to April and a whole lot of big releases right around the corner. Until then, I'll just have to catch you on the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye. All it's supposed to